Hello and welcome to the next episode of this series, which is all this Lego room and of course my life. Now today is all about Mario and getting it ready for the new Lego sets that have arrived. So we have got the Mighty Bowser, we've got the shell, we've got all sorts of other little bits and pieces that we need to find a space for because the track is going to be going on this table, and as normal, well, the table is full of stuff. Now in previous uploads we have managed to get some of the superhero section in, so the train tracks in. We started to get all the path and everything around, and it zigzags underneath this table because this is my building table, and then we are going to be connecting it through the Jurassic Park gates into Jurassic Park, into Star Wars Winter Village, and so on and so forth. And of course it continues all around this side, so we are doing it zone by zone as we go. But I have been speaking about this for a while with regards to pulling the trigger on getting a Mario Kart Land open, and the second this set came out, well, it's time to get it done. So with that being said, let's get to it. So this upload should be simple enough. I just need to figure out how to do a little bit of a track, get these sets to the back of that table so I've got some space, and then I can basically start to build them because there is a plan of attack. I need to build this one first, so obviously you're not going to see that in this upload, but I want to build this thing first because, well, I want to see how much space it takes up. This thing is also massive, so I need to see how high this is. Once these two are built, I can then try and make up a very, very makeshift template display, because I am going to try and do some form of a luge where it just gravity fed from the top down to the bottom. Now ideally I want it to start about the same height as the roller coaster and basically just come down at that angle to the ground. So it could just be a straight line, or we could add in a zigzag, and of course it will be on the newer 15 by 15 row plates. I think that might be the easiest way of doing it, rather than doing it custom with my row plates that I've got there, which are all 16 by 16, not 15 by 15, the 16 by 16 row plates. But I will try and do some basically dummy runs, and we can just try and figure out sort of like a track formation within this upload. So I think that's probably the best thing to do, because then by the time this video's gone live, I'll be building these, and then you guys and girls can let me know the best building techniques of how to do stuff, because I don't know whether to put the cylinder tubes underneath the track and then add in sort of the little slopes, like the little wedges where it all connects and everything like that, so it'll be nice and smooth. Not 100% sure which way to go, but I want to utilize the depth of the table because this is the only table that sticks out from the wall coming all the way through. So because we have got our makeshift table made up, it's always going to be a bit of a nightmare because it's right in the way and I have to crawl underneath it all the time. So the Mario is going to, both of the big Mario sets are going to be two that are going to be built first. Now we have just got basically all the stuff that hasn't yet been put back in the different zones and sections of the theme park. Now obviously the Spider-Man head from No Way Home, that is at the process of being sort of dissected, that's the word, dissected for individual pieces to go into our superhero section. We started to do that with these, and I've already knocked it off with the table. The one thing that I am unsure of is where that house is going to live. Now, I don't particularly just want to throw it into a different zone, but for the sake of this upload, I might do, and then I might just house it off camera, because the only space I have is the Jurassic Park section, which is over there. So I think what I'm going to do is I might put all of these boxes over there, move the table, then throw these somewhere that I can rehome it, because I want to get to these. That's what I want to get to. These are all piled up there for a reason, so it looks a lot worse than what it is. So let's get you on top of here. I am tired, thirsty. Oh, there we go. And still slightly jet lagged, but we will crack on and get on, because I have not been back from Singapore for too long, and there are lots and lots of Lego Store videos available, obviously from the travels that we have done. Right, loop coaster wobbling, but it doesn't matter, you're there. Will this fit? It's a big box. course it will, but it won't fit the ghost first, which is annoying. Right, so we have got the Donkey Kong, and we've got the start line. In fact, we can just pile these up rather than stand there. That might make life a little bit easier. We got given a teddy bear giveaway. We've got little Yoshi. We've got the spinning shell. Now, I did the unboxing for these, hence why this is open. That one isn't. So that is something else that I need to consider, because I need to get an unboxing video done of the Bowser, and then these will start to be built. Is that going to sit nicely for me? Not really, but it will do. Right, there we go. We have a pile of, well, stuff is what we have, which is fine. Now, what have we got to move? We've got to move the Bowser, and then we've got to tuck in to the minifigures that are on this table. Because at the end of this video, once I've shown you the track stuff, I'll just put all of this stuff, like I said, onto this table, going back to front, and then we should be okay and good to go. Now, hopefully, you're all right in that position and you can see things. But I've got quite a bit of space in this room when the floor and everything is neat and tidy enough. Right. So I need to get a dozer, because I haven't forgotten that. I do want to get the dozer and actually get this set up for basically our pirate section. So I'm not getting carried away, but this was obviously just all thrown in and together, and the new bulldozer is out. And what I want to do is I want to move the crane basically in front of the coaster, I think. And then have that and the new bulldozer with all the figures all around it. And then we can, I'll probably have the crane going across, facing the slightly different angle. And then just make a nice display up for that, because this area isn't going to be complete until Christmas. So this is a 6-month project. Obviously the One Piece stuff has officially been announced as of the other day, which is fantastic. So those boats and things will look nice within this. Have got ideas of where the bits and pieces go. There's obviously rumours of the Pirates of the Caribbean, and there is a Bricklink Designer Programme set that is coming out as well. And obviously they're all pirate based. And then with the other Ninjago boat, I think we should be good. Right, so we have got the one thing that the biggest thing I'm unsure of. That's hence these. The reason why these are on the floor is ready for me to do a review when I pick up the new one, because I can compare all the box sizes and stuff, and I can recycle the boxes and gone. Right, so what I need to do is actually, that Harry Potter is the one set that I am on the fence with regards to where does it go. Because all of the other little bits and pieces are there or thereabouts. Okay, these are just the minifigures from Harry Potter. There's a couple of bits of track on there. Flintstones here, I'm not 100% sure on that. So that can just sort of go in our, it might be going pile, or we might hide it. We might hide it somewhere. But this one, I do like. But I don't know where it can go. And I pulled this Batman out for some reason the other week. I cannot remember. What did I do that for? Was it for the Galactus? Might have been. Big thing. Nice looking thing, but you just shelf them really. Picked them all up cheap enough, and then all of a sudden they stopped doing them. So, right. So this thing here, I don't know if it will go here. I don't know if it's going to live in that gap. I'm no idea whatsoever. But what I will try and do for now, there we go, is put it where it could go, and then basically we'll figure it out, because I don't know if it can go further back this way, but for now it's not going to get damaged, so it can just it can just live there. So what I'm going to do quick is I'm going to get a bag to put the Harry Potter figures in, because I have got one already, but it's full. So I'm going to pick up all those Harry Potter characters, put them in one of these bags, put the bag just by that, and then of course we'll have a Harry Potter upload at some point. Then we should just be left with an empty table, some base plates, and then we can figure out what we're going to do, because we did come up with a flat template which has already been uploaded, and that was just basically a flat track, and the plan was just to have the big Mario Kart somewhere on it, but I really like this gravity fed idea. How I'm going to do it, I don't know. So leave it with me, let's make some space and then we can carry on. Right, just like that, we have base plates and a toothbrush. Yes, I have a toothbrush to clean all the little bits and pieces off. Everybody has their own thing. That is mine. And no, I don't use it for my mouth anymore. So this was going to be some of the sort of like switch track bits and pieces that we were going to use, because the original plan was to have this basically fully base plated. And then we were going to have a 16 by 16 track over the top, put some trees on it, keep it very simple and flat. But what I want to do is try and raise it up. Now, there is possibilities, because I'm actually looking at the clear glass going, well, that could, for now, give me a start off for the track and then build up in front of it. Get the template I want for with these, because obviously they are quite tall, and then get rid of them over a period of time and actually build it up with the proper supports and things from obviously the Lego bits and pieces. Because the actual, these little 16 by 16s or 16 by 32 base plates that I've got, you can't pin anything into the bottom. Whereas the road plates, thanks to Jay's Toy Collection UK and him showing me the base of those, they do have the supports underneath. So I am looking at this table and I want at least 2 tracks, ideally 3. I'd like 1 down the middle, 2 down either side, not coming down too deep. So 1 would sort of zigzag, 1 would be just in a straight line, and 1 would be stepped maybe, I don't know. All 3 of them, I was then thinking when it hit the bottom of the table, then wrapped round the middle of the Super Mario Kart. So that would be simple enough. Now if, say for example, the track started from the white, so it's not too tall off the ground, it's literally going to be probably a glass thing, if not a glass thing in a bit, so that's going to be a little bit awkward to do. With the start line on top of that, that could work, but I don't think the Bowser would fit on there. So that's something I've got to take into consideration, because that thing is massive. But I think with regards to the stand and things, it would potentially fit on the glass thing if it was a row, and if we had 2 glass things, it could potentially go as well. So that's the things that I need to figure out over the next few uploads. But for this one, I just want to see basically the width and space we've got if we were to do this. So we have got 3 tracks. That is the space that we would have in between each. Not ideal with using a white one, but there, you get the drift. So we've got three different tracks coming down. Now really, that's where it could finish. So it could just go straight up, finish, Super Mario goes in front of it, and then we could have a wraparound on this bit. Between the gaps, it then gives me the opportunity to either build some sort of lift going all the way up to the top, big stairs, something stupid to get it all the way back up to the top again. But I want to see basically how many of these we need to clip together to actually make these work as a straight line. Now, most of these will have stuff on them, which isn't exactly ideal, because obviously these are the other row plates that were being used elsewhere. But if I just, there we go, if I start to do this, I wonder if we can see as a test how many will clip together. And obviously this isn't the right plates, obviously not, but it might work for what we are trying to achieve. Now, on the safe side, I think what I'm going to do is just do a full run, like so. I just want to see what angle we can get to start with. That is 4 16s. So we are 2 base plates in length at the moment. So if we go for 2.5 base plate drop and see where that takes us to. Because obviously what we can do is we either come down and just like as a steep straight line angle, or we do something slightly different and we can step it, so we can actually drop it in onto itself, so it's not just coming down as an angle. So if we were to drop it, it would be, for example, you'd have it like that, and it's a step level, and then we get the curve and it comes down. But of course we can do 2, then it steps down, and then 2. So you've got 230, you've got basically 32 by 16, and then we've got a 16, and then we step it again into 2. So we have that, steps down, then that, then steps down, and we just need the that curve piece. That basically, that's the bit that we need just to clip them together. So that's how we would get it in the correct color, and then we just step down and step down and step down by a couple of studs, and we could potentially zigzag all the way down that way. But will this stay together as a test? Yes, it will. Not really, but we could start it from there and it finished. That's it. So it just literally comes down in to a flat, because obviously it will link in. It's just a little bit too floppy, which is slightly annoying. I do have some spare. Let's see if we can support it ever so with these. Even if we just pop one somewhere. Like I said, this is just an idea. There we go. That takes the flex out of it completely. Brilliant. That's what we want. Stay. So, if I don't breathe, that is basically the first ramp. And then we have the start up at the top, so it's just straight. Now, of course, what I was saying about it coming down and then stepping straight, that is actually now flush, and we can either just keep it like that, or we clip it with the clippy, rampy bit. We could do the same thing in the middle, so it comes down, steps out, and then comes down and then steps out, so it's not as vicious a drop as that, and that it could literally just be the first one, which is, well, that's nice. That's nice and simple. I think struggle maybe to get 3 in, because if I did do a step for the next one, which I will show you on wood, don't think it will fit. So we would have to have like straight, I think we'll have to go down that way, or a zigzag step on the other, because we had, yeah, because it's going to be 2, it's going to be 32 wide and 16 wide, and then we're going to have a little bit of space either edge. So if I show you on wood now what I mean for a larger scale. Now with this way of doing it, what I'm about to show you, you can do this with the new row plates, because you'll be able to clip them. So if, say for example, we have this, so we have a 3, and we have a 2. You can hopefully now see what I mean with regards to the step, And then, of course, what we would do is we'd then have, oh, I'll just move the bit that it was holding. We'd have a one, and then we would have a nothing. And we would literally do that all the way down. So we'd start off high, and then we'll just drop it every time. So you just zigzag, drop, 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 all the way down to the bottom. That's it. That's the 2 tracks. Simple, I think. But the key thing is where is the mighty Bowser gonna go? Because potentially the tracks could start above either side of the flame, and he could actually just be stood in the middle at the back with the start line above him. And then we could basically figure out some bits and pieces, because obviously once all of this is in, what I do want to do is obviously put all the trees and everything in and all that kind of thing. But that I think that could work. If that, obviously the other one was pushed over and that one was there. How many other bits of wood have I got? I've got some dotted around. I think a 2 jump would be, that's really going to annoy me. I think a 2 jump is going to be a bit ambitious, because I think what you're going to need on the 2 is you're going to need it like that. So we could, do we make one bigger track? Do we go really, really high? And do we basically do, do that? You said you can, yeah. Do we do this? Oh, that'd be a better way of doing it, putting the wood on the side. So do we do that? So it just goes down and then it zigzags all the way down, and we just start super, super high. Because that would just go in the middle, and that potentially would give us more option of actually going round the Bowser and round the Mario Kart. I don't think that would be too difficult to do. The drop in might, I don't know how to support this bit. I might be able to just clip this with the curvy clip and clip that with the curvy clip, maybe. If not, we'd have to lose that. But I think it would be quite nice to have that in, because obviously then we'll just have basically the next one like that, wouldn't we? That would be the ground. And then we'd have one on the floor. So this is obviously a much, much smaller version. Just like that. And of course, if we wanted to, we could have it straight more and come out, and we can have a tighter corner, and then we can basically do what we want. So it potentially would allow, if the Bowser fits, to have the track going around the side of the Bowser all the way in front, and then zigzagging down and dropping, and then we get to the front, we can then basically split it. And to be fair, we could split it here as well, because that's how the luge actually works. So what we do have the opportunity of doing is having this in a straight line coming down, connecting 2, again depending on where the Bowser goes, and then it meets, because all the tracks in Singapore all link in to basically the bottom quarter, and then you all race to the finishing line. So you basically all start at the same point, go down 3 or 4 different tracks, and then you meet basically down at the bottom. So Again, if this was just, that wasn't attached, and that was there, it would go like that. See, start line straight down, or we'll do a build the zigzag up on that side. And I guess we could do something on high across on the other, but we start to do that, I don't think the Bowser is actually going to fit at all. So we have got the option then, we've got the option of doing joining bits off the start line. Doing it like this would then just basically allow us to build around what we want, and like I keep saying, we're going to use the newer row plate so it'll allow me to stick stuff underneath, because I can just stick the cylinder tubes, just raise it all up, put all the trees and everything underneath that. The air and things like that, where there'll just be basically nothing there, we could just put water there, we can do all the other little bits and pieces. And then yeah, we can just basically wrap it round. And when I got this big thing built, that thing done, and the start finish line done, because they're the three key things, it will give us an idea of where the start finish could go, because I can support it easy enough on the others. And I think I quite like that. I quite like the little drops. And I mean, you could keep it really simple, because you could just have that completely straight, and then it just goes up and then straight again, so it's just down, straight, zigzag down, so it doesn't have to be zigzagged all the way. So we would have a gap from that side. At the moment we've then got nothing on the other side. So there are ideas for this, but this is only a short upload, because I kind of see, I don't know until these are built what space these things are going to take up. I don't know whether I'm going to have the Bowser on the stand. I don't know whether to have the Bowser basically stood in the middle, like say for example like there, and it is on the table, and then you have the track basically wrapping around him, and then I think it's all going to connect in. Kind of like the idea of a connecting track rather than one big one, even if it is just two pieces. And again, if the Bowser, for example, is where that plate is, the green one, and not where the grey one is, we could keep the grey one where it is and then step it that way, and then we got that, and the Bowser could potentially go in the middle. Because it doesn't give us, I could find it online, but I like being painful to myself, because it does not give us the dimension of the stand on the back of the box, I don't think. What it gives us is the dimension of the actual Bowser, which is 11.5, so it's just over a base plate, and we have that space. I could extend the width of the table, I could go wider if it's going to be a bit of an issue. I could see what I can do with that. There is options. So I don't know if I could spin this table round. This table actually goes underneath, so we lose a little bit, so we wouldn't actually use that anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But then there'd be a secondary table stepping off this, coming across. It just depends on how big that table is, because that way it could just literally overlap to probably here, and it comes over, because that would be a meter. I'm throwing all these ideas out now, literally off the top of my head, so you guys and girls can think, well, actually, yeah, there'll be future expansion, because originally I did say that we could bracket this table and extend it, but from that leg, why do I always leave the broken tape measure up here? A lot there is. Come on. Ow. Right, so that from there to there. So it is, it's literally to that first stud. because this is sticking out 1 metre, obviously. So 1.20 meters does eat into the room. Food for thought. I could have done it easily if I didn't spin these other tables round, but I needed to spin those tables round for the track. But I think we can make it work on this one table standalone, because worst case, we know that I don't even think you saw any of that. I think you were facing upwards. So from here to here, that stud just there is a table length. That is this table spun round, and obviously it would stick out a little bit more. So it would be a very, very narrow gap, which I don't think would work. Now, I did say in the previous upload that that thing does actually fit where it's floating. So we could have it looking into the track, which again would look quite smart, which then does not get in the way of anything that we're going to be doing for the track. So we have got options. And I think if we just got a load of these circular cylinder tubes and we literally copied this, just how it's going from the ground up, stepped. So we've obviously got that one, and we go down and carry on. I think we could have a form of transportation going from the bottom to the top, because it would just be stationary, it wouldn't be moving. And I have seen, I think on Bricklink, you can see how you make the, is it the gondola? The bit you sit in on a ski lift, the bit that you go up in. So I think that looked quite nice, but again, when you get to the bottom, you've got to get up to the top. I think that would look quite nice. But realistically, that's probably where it's going to start, because I think the start line from there, if we had a platform higher up, some of the cars up there came off and then wrapped around. Big thing did go there, plenty of track. If not, we built it around that. But until this is built, and until the 3 big things are built, I'm not going to know, but I'm going to need your help. So it's a very, very random Disaster Series upload, because I'm doing all this blind. But you can see what this is going to do, and I am going to get the rest of the sets that are out, because there's two more Mario Kart sets that I don't have. Then you've got the small standard Mario Kart, which is already in a sale, because of course they're re-releasing the exact same car with the actual larger Mario, so just wait for that one rather than the other. And then there's 2 other sets coming out as well. Doing this potentially, say for example, where we've got a gap here, because if this road plate then went there, and then we kind of stepped it and did all this kind of thing, where we've got the space, we could obviously have theming down the side of the table. We could have some theming. We could have some theming there. Of course, we could potentially just overlap it and then come down that way. But that still then gives you something that we're going to need theming for on the one side. And again, we could just come forward and then step out. And again, you'd have the Mario Kart bit in the middle. So that will get you all the way up. And then again, you come down that way, it will get you all the way down. And we could go across. So you could do actually, yeah, you could do 3 just at that. Straight down, up from there. Or you carry on and down, so we don't have anything in the top corner. So you start off on 2, you've got 2 ways to start, 3 ways on the way down. Plenty of options, isn't there? Spoilt for choice with this size of table, so it's absolutely fine. But that is it, and I am done. I know this is a ridiculous upload, and this is going to be a very, very good fun project, but I need to crack on and get these things built so I have a better understanding of just how large this thing is. So I am going to take a photo of this so I can remember what I've done. You guys and girls have already seen it. I'm going to place all the Mario stuff against the table so it looks a little bit more neat and tidy. And then in the next future uploads, we're going to be getting the digger in, because that will be coming at some point. So we can make the new display for the digger. And I'm going to order all the road plates that are needed and get all the other Mario sets and really go to town on this and just get this basically as complete as I can until the new sets come out. It's not going to affect the track at all. It's just going to be more vehicles. There will be some trees and stuff that I'm going to need to order. So when I get to the ordering phase of stuff from the LEGO website, we'll move back over to this side, re-tidy up all the minifigures that have been put up on that roof, and then hopefully we can then jump back to the Jurassic Park section. So guys, that is it, and I am done. So if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Yes, I know I'm stupid, but this is going to be a good bit of fun. So as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care and catch you next one.